Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, it is myself and Mateo once again, and we are both rocking Broncos jerseys. Don't get it twisted. I'm not a Broncos fan. I lost the bet.
I am, though. It's our year. It's our year.
Your year for what?
Super Bowl.
For what exactly?
Super Bowl, mate. Super Bowl.
You got to get past the Kansas City Chiefs first.
Listen. We should have beaten that first time round. Blocked field goal.
Until that happens, we never know. Good evening, Joe. Good evening, Gary. How are you both doing today? Mr. Dr. Litboner. What is it?
I ain't saying nothing.
Anyway, let me carry on. We had a beautiful 17 games yesterday. One actually was cancelled. Then one was cancelled about 14 hours before kickoff. So that was very interesting. From what I saw, it was that obviously Vikings couldn't fill the team, and they cancelled the game at 10 p.m. the night before, which I think is automatic walkover. Not sure how that goes, but it is what it is.
That puts Newcastle into Div 1 next year. So that puts a whole massive plot twist on this new Division 1 playoff structure. We've all got our favourites. We'll go into that later on. Who's gonna win that? But yeah,
that's good. Look, I'm very intrigued at how everything's gonna go with all of that, because I actually have no clue. I actually have no clue how this playoff relegation thing's going to work.
It's a total mindfuck, because obviously I was under the impression that the Sheffield pulled out against Alphas for Div 1 and Div 2, but they haven't. They've actually managed to rearrange it. But if they do pull out of a game, does that, what happens to that game? Does that mean, there's absolutely loads, and I don't think we're going to know till it gets to the actual fucking thing.
The issue is that the playoffs start in July, and I guess the Division 1 teams don't need to know who they're playing yet until. No, sorry, playoff starts in August, but they don't need to know the team that they're playing until mid-August. So I guess that game could get rearranged, but I don't know. It's looking a bit interesting. I know online we've put it down as a walkover. It's been put down as a walkover. But if it does get rescheduled, which I do think...
It has to go down as a walkover, even if they wanted to reschedule it, because...
12 hours is too short of a time.
And it costs a fortune to... Because Titans will have lost out on a deposit. It's not like they can just cancel the deposit. Players book holidays off for games and stuff like that. It's not fair. Look, have they done the right thing? They've had no choice by the sounds of it. That better be a pit in my jersey.
Rahul, I didn't buy the jersey. Mateo bought it because I lost my bet. Wagwan Sedi, Mr. Number 5, doing his thing as usual. But shall we get into that? We'll get into the games in a second. But it is a big fuck around.
I think what a lot of people don't understand, and unless you've been in like a committee at a club, the amount of money and time it costs to run and organise a game. There used to be a girl who used to do it when I was at Crew, and she got herself so worked up because it takes so much time, it takes so much effort and structure. And look, it's happened. They pulled out player safety. Manchester on the defence, especially, are a very good physical team. Yeah. It's just mental that it's happening at Prem standard, and there's nothing else really can say.
Yeah, that's true. But we did have 16 other games being played that day yesterday. So let's start off with probably the highest scoring game of the weekend. 108 points were scored between Hereford Stampede and Cornwall Monarchs, which the scoreline was 66 Hereford, 42 Cornwall. We all picked Cornwall to win this game. No, we all picked Hereford to win this game. Sorry.
I don't know if the league table's been updated on BAFA's website, But fair play, Cornwall. I mean, look, they won. It's saying on here one game. We all know Baffer's website can be slightly out of date. But fair play. I mean, it looks like it was a battle of offense. Defense didn't turn up. But Hereford look like they've got that league secured. On Baffer's website, it says they played 7, won 5, lost 2. So unless Swindon can win their other 2 games now, because it's saying Swindon are on 5 games, I might be Cornwall win at half time too.
Yeah,
2 and 3. There you go. So Baffer's website isn't updated, but it sounds like it was a brilliant game.
Sounds like it was a great game, and I have no complaints. At least there's some sort of battle going on. But it does beg the question, Cornwall, you only scored 1 touchdown in the second half. What exactly happened to you lot in the second half? Did they crumble? Did they just break down? Because think about it, Hereford went on and scored 40+ points.
But that defines character. I always say this, if you're getting beat at half time and you can come back and win, that just defines character. It just shows you how good you are, because when you're in the trenches, you've got to dig deep, you've got to churn out results. That's good players, that's good coaches, that's good captains, that's a good mentality. They might have gone into that game thinking, we're just going to batter these. That's the worst thing. I've played for teams and I've seen it happen. We're just going to batter these. Bit of a mad one.
It's true. It's very true. Cool. But it's a great look. It's a great win. It's a great win for the Wakefield. Fuck, bloody hell, got me messed up with the next game. With Hereford Stampede coming back from such a loss, a potential loss, to absolutely dominating in the second half, which seems like they adjusted very well. They are a good Div. Yeah. What is wrong?
A good Div 1 team in Div 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. And we expect them to see back in Div 1. Now the question is, will they be able to stay in Div 1 if they get there? We don't know until next year, so we will just have to wait and find out to see how that goes. But let's move on to another team in Division 2 as well. We got Wakefield District Raiders 16, Humber Warhawk 40. Now, this isn't much of a surprise to any of us, because we all picked Warhawks to win this game. So, they're another Div 1 team playing in Division 2.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to play Gateshead Senators twice. I think I was looking at the fixtures before. So that's going to be an interesting one. Who's going to step up and get that league secured. So even, I think if they do win next week, Humber, I know they've got to play them again, but they lost the game. So I think that they might secure the league next week. I'm not too sure. But Humber looking really good. The rest of the division, they've got a point to prove. Look, there's only a few weeks left for some of these teams. My advice would be go out and enjoy every rep and get yourself prepared for next season if there's nothing left.
I agree.
Achieved for the rest of the season.
Exactly. But we are going to just move along because, again, we unfortunately don't have much access to how some of these games go unless someone actually tells us in the chat. Sorry, my mic is too loud and it's jumpy. So I'm just going to modify this real quickly. But we are going to talk about Darlington Steam versus Doncaster Mustangs. This game ended 48-27. It does seem like teams are scoring a lot more these days.
But we said this the other day. Like, no one wants to watch a game where it's like 50-0. Like, it gets boring. Like, I'm sure it's great for the offense and the defense, of that team. But as a mutual third party, watching that game, you want to see a close game. You want to see a good battle. Fair play to Doncaster, by the way, because I'm pretty sure they forfeited the game against Humber. They're still going for it. They're still trying to. It sounds like there's a bit of a rebuild year for them. 48-27. They've put a few points on, built some momentum from that. Like I said, try and finish your season as strong as possible. Go into next season with a game plan. And
look, Donny, they haven't really won games recently as much, so it's sort of a up and down for them. They're still stuck in Division 2. I don't know that if I had my way again, we're going to discuss this at the end of the season on how we will structure the leagues going forward. So that will be fun to see how we go. Just hopefully you remember that.
I haven't took that many hits lately.
Sure. But we're going to move on to Division 1, where we had Somerset Wavens 0, Solent Freshers 49. Another simple win.
Yeah, Somerset haven't scored a single point all season. I genuinely feel bad for their offense on that. You get teams who go to Div 1, and the standard from Div 2 in Div 1 in some regions, not all regions, is insane.
Yeah.
It looks like that might be the case. They might have had an exodus of players leave. I don't know. But it looks like, they might welcome relegation with open arms, rebuild, and try and get back up. You've seen teams like, that have gone down and then they've come back up and looked absolutely brilliant. You look at like Sandwell Steelers. They were a Div 2 team last year. They look like they're going to win their league again this year. Yeah. Kudos. Absolutely brilliant.
And it's true. And it looks like the Thrashers, their scheme, their team, all looks absolutely amazing. Doncaster are decent. They're suffering with a lack of players, especially linemen.
Every team struggles for linemen. It's like a north. I mean, I don't know what it's like down south, but it's a northern. It's like a northern curve. There'll be teams that say they've got 15 all linemen. They'll have 6 at training. They'll have 5 at training. Sometimes they'll have 4 or 3.
Yeah.
Look, it is what it is. That's why developing your youth, developing your juniors, getting them into that, is so clinical for teams moving forward.
I'm just saying, most teams have at least 2 to 3 universities near them. If you don't go recruit, that's on you. At the end of the day, it's also on you. Try to keep players around the area within that time. You've got to be able to do the work to try and bolster your team to get better.
I love what my club's doing, because we've got a flag team, we've got a junior team, we've got a youth team, obviously on under 19s, then we've got our adults. Like, we're attacking it from pretty much every angle. So that next generation of Britball is in 4 or 5 years' time. They'll know how club culture is. If everyone did that, I think the sport will grow a lot quicker. I've seen some teams have a bit of a pub team mentality. It's fun and games for a year or two, but in the run, it doesn't help.
No, it does not help at all. Oh, I forgot I got this. But yeah, we're going to move on to the next game in that same division. Now, I expected this game to end the exact way that it happened.
You did, mate.
Apache 14, South Wales Warriors 0. They split the contest again. They split each other. They split it again against each other. It's not that surprising. And again, this looks like it's now South Wales. It looks like it's Solent Thrashers division to throw away.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, did I pick the South Wales to win this one?
1 second. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did I pick South Wales to win this one?
I've just done it again.
I
went in and screwed things up. 1 second, people. I apologize. This is all on me. Okay, talk, please.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
For crying out loud. Oh, can't be asked.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just took it out.
Yeah.
To do this.
Yeah. Did I pick South Wales Warriors to win?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. I mean, look, you're going off. I'm always going to go off the record. All right, mate, you've won one. Broncos suck. No, I know we do suck sometimes.
I know they suck. Badly, but
yeah, we don't suck as much as the Raiders. I've just got to point that out. But yeah, look, that league's a bit of a mad one. You know a little bit more about that than me. It's going to be a very interesting finish to that league. Let's see what happens.
I'm very intrigued to see how it's going to go, because obviously whoever's playing in that division will have to potentially have to travel in the second round of the playoffs. So that will be interesting to see how that works. But hey, Solent Thrashers lost their first game, one of the games against South Wales. So I guess that rematch against South Wales is going to be very, very interesting to see who wins the division. Because if I'm not, if I'm mistaken, South Wales is apparently South Wales is now will be 6-1. Solent Freshers have played 5 games. I'm guessing it hasn't updated, and they will officially be 4-1. So it will come down to that game, which would be very, very tricky to see how they push forward. So that should be good. Our local. So you do go through players, and then students do go home. That is understandable. July 28th, South Wales Warriors versus Solent Freshers. I'm guessing that game is at Freshers' home ground because I'm sure they've already played at South Wales. If you can just confirm that again, that would be perfect.
Just in response to the local, the local Prem team as for the uni team. I don't know what area you're in, but at some point the people who've gone to uni also come back. When I was at Chester, there was this lad who was at a uni team and he could only come back for so many games, so he signed to us. I agree and disagree with that one. Again, it's all about how it's presented. It's a bit of a mad one. Mad.
David Chu, Solent did not lose to Bournemouth. They lost to South. They beat Bournemouth twice. Have they even played Bournemouth? They played Bournemouth once. What are you? The game got cancelled. The first Solent Freshers and Bournemouth Bobcats game. So that information is wrong. But yeah, it should be a great game, to be fair. Yeah, and it's at Solent. So Solent will have the home field advantage for that final game against each other to see who gets promoted. So that's going to be very interesting who gets the top spot in that division. But let's cross over to the central side where we had Sussex Thunder 18, Portsmouth Dreadnoughts 50. They got dog walked by Wembley Stallions a week earlier. And
very inconsistent.
It is. And the only person that actually got this one right was Sean. Again.
We're never heard the end of that.
We're never going to head the end of it because he's just away with the predictions. Is actually unreal. But
apart from Stallions, the teams in that league, you think you'd argue, are a bit inconsistent.
But it does make it interesting because obviously Portsmouth are now 3-3. I don't know if it's been updated. Sussex are now 2-5. So it's now officially a 2-horse race for second place and for that second playoff spot in that division. Now, it does look like it could be Blitz because I think Blitz have already beaten Portsmouth twice. Yeah, so they've got their head-to-head on them. So Blitz will need to lose another game, which I don't see happening with any other team in this division unless Blitz have to play Portsmouth next week, which that is what's happening. So next week could potentially see if Blitz B are going to make playoffs, which makes things a lot more interesting, especially for the game with something on the line other than just it being an absolute dead-end game. One of the 6 games without a battleground.
I'm just going to throw this comment out again, and you wonder why refs want to turn up the games when they're getting spoken to like absolute crap. So maybe if we stop doing that, we'll have more refs. 6 games is mental.
Yeah. And then, wow. But yeah, that game next week is going to be interesting. Dreadnoughts versus Blitz B. Not traveling to Portsmouth, but I'll be definitely intrigued to see how that game goes forward. The next game in that same division, all 6 teams played. No, 2 teams played. We got Berkshire Renegades 0, London Blitz B 41. We all picked the Blitz B to win this game. I don't think any of us are surprised.
Yeah, no. This wasn't a surprise. Blitz.
I'm surprised by the scoreline though. It's a lot. Blitz B they've been very inconsistent with scoring high points, which was good. Okay, went to the Berkshire game. Went to the Berkshire game versus Blitz and witnessed the player argue with a coach on the Renegade side and then walked off mid-game after not getting on the pitch. Went down 35-0. Were you at training? Were they? There's a lot of factors that can go into this game. Sometimes, were they at training? Have they been at training the last couple of weeks? Do they know the playbook? sometimes putting a person on the field that doesn't know anything is more risky because that person could actually seriously injure someone because they don't know exactly what's going on.
Or have they just got a shitty attitude? Like,
Or that.
I've seen players who come out and warm up on their own. They come out like half an hour late, no apologies, nothing like that. Like, if you've not got the right attitude, when I've been a coach, I've just been like, nah.
Yeah.
Look, the coach has had his reason for not putting them on, but I've never argued with a coach. I've always had a good chat with a coach if I've disagreed with something. Show your coaches some respect. You don't get paid to do this. We pay to do this. That's fine. We're entitled to voice our votes. But show your coaches some respect. Don't be storming off. Don't be throwing your lid. Don't be none of that. Stop.
It's true. It's very true. But we are going to diverge over to the other Division 1 in the South. London Olympians 37, Essex Tridents 3. We all picked the Olympians to win this game. I don't think there was much of a surprise. But I think that division now is very, very touch and go.
Well, it's between two. It's between two teams.
Yeah, it is.
So it's who's finishing top. It's between the Olympians and East Kent Mavericks.
It's who's traveling.
It's
who's traveling because first place, we know that first place will always be the first game at home.
Yeah.
But it makes things very, very interesting for their rematch that these two are gonna have to play. I don't know if they played each other twice already. No, they have not. The last time these two teams played, it ended. Am I going mad or can I not see it? Oh, it's not their thing. Right. I can't be asked to search for it right now. But 7-6. Last time they played, it was 7-6. So the next matchup is going to be very, very interesting to see who out of those two will be the champions of that division.
Not necessarily.
What do you mean?
London Olympians have tied a game.
Yeah, but if they lose
But if, let's just say, East Kent Mavericks win the exact same score and then win their other game, do you get what I mean?
Yeah, the Olympians will win by technicality of the tie.
Even if they've got more points. Because if East Kent Mavericks, let's say, beat London Olympians...
The head-to-head would be enough for East Kent Mavericks to go above them. Because the Olympians would have won 5 games and then East Kent Mavericks won 6. So I don't know if it's been updated as of yet.
I don't know what.
East Kent Mavericks. They should be up the top place because I think they would have won 6 games. So I think they've got one more game maybe. It's very, very confusing on when that's not updated as straight up. But Olympians scoring more points. It's a good sign. It's going in the right direction, I guess, is the best thing to say. But can they do it up against a good defense? So far, no. So we'll see what happens when they play the Mavs next time. I don't think they have to play.
I mean, we're going to go into the Mavs game next, but that win, I don't think that's a great win for them. The next one,
it's very close. So that score was Colchester Gladiators 18, East Kent Mavericks 23. It's what, 6 points, 7 points, touchdown. Very tight game. I'm sure that there's a Mavs player on here. Please let us know how this game was so close. But the Mavs keep winning. They haven't lost the game since they lost to the Olympians. They are on a roll. They probably would be undefeated, but I guess that first loss against Olympians probably is a good thing because they got that out of the way now. And let's see if they can make a push for the finals, for the playoffs, I guess.
Yeah. Look, like I said at the beginning, I don't think East Kent will be happy with that win. I've got the fixtures up on my iPad. I have to change page in a moment, but again, it's just another division where it's going to be a very interesting finish. I think most of these divisions that you can kind of gather who's going to be there, but it's how it's going to finish is going to be interesting. And looking forward to that next game.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. But we're going to go up north. We're going to go to your neck of the woods. We got Staffordshire Surge 0, Sandwell Steelers 17. So myself and Sean picked the Surge to win this game. Yourself and Chris picked the Steelers to win this game.
Yes. So do you want me to go ahead or?
Yeah.
Both teams had they've got a lot of injured players. I think Sporting, we don't give Sandwell Steelers enough recognition. They were a Div 2 team last year. Forget about them being a Premier League team. They were a Div 2 team last year. A good win against an always very physical Surge. Also, happy birthday to John Wise. If you don't know John Wise, he's like the Highlander version of American football. He's been playing for 20, 30 years, legend. But no, Ben Marvin's got that team regimented, always points to the camera after a win, so I'm pointing there. 17-0, good win. And yeah, I mean, is that them division champions confirmed? Let's look at the league table. 4 wins.
I think it would be.
I don't know if the BAFA website has updated, maybe one more win needed. But again, this is the clusterfuck league of Division 1. Like, how many times have we predicted something and got something wrong? Birmingham Bulls have risen from the ashes and all sorts. Look, again, Surge has done really well. We talk about teams coming up to Div 1 and getting spanked and going straight back down.
Yeah.
They've built up. They've got some good players. They've got rid of that pub culture. They've got a new kit. They're looking great. I love what they're doing on the socials. Let's see what they do next year. But no, great win for Steelers. Let's see how this finishes. Can they go all the way in the playoffs?
We'll see. Oh. Well, it'll be very interesting to see if they can do it. But they do have to go through the Rams potentially to get there. So it's going to be very interesting.
If you had to pick, you can pick 1 or 2 teams. I'm just calling you out here, and this is a big call out. Who do you think is winning that Northern playoff? You can pick 2 teams. You have to pick 1. You pick 2. You said Rams already.
Okay, Rams and I have to look at who else is in those divisions. I can't just. Got to really, really take a keen. If anything, it'll be from the division in the NFC North. It'll probably be Rams and Alphas.
Okay.
Give or take.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting to see. But seeing as we're talking about the division North, we're going to go on to Merseyside Nighthawks 14, Chester Romans 0. What? Me and you picked the Romans to win this game.
I'm an ex-Chester Romans player. I'm always going to pick the Chester Romans in a local derby. 100%. Chester Romans can be playing the Broncos. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah. No, look, Nighthawks. I've been saying this for a few weeks now. Nighthawks have recruited extremely well. It's a big rebuild for them. And Nighthawks defense, it doesn't surprise me that they've shut them out. Chester Romans, they've lost a lot of players. So it just kind of beat like them 2 wins against Sheffield were massive for them. I really hope they do well in the summer. They've got great coaching staff there. They've got a great background team. Whether some of them have deleted me off social media or not when I left. I'm gutted for the Romans. They've got the return fixture in a few weeks. Romans, I think, have got 3 games in the trot now, so it's a big 3 weeks for them. Like I've said before, and I'll say it again, if you're thinking about not turning up for the game because you don't want to get beat or to this, just do it. Just get there, get every rep in, get ready for next season. Nighthawks put on a great show by the looks of it, and great win.
Oh, yeah, it does look like a great win. I sort of didn't count them to win, but again, it's probably not that surprising.
Yeah.
It's not that surprising as we are going into the next game. Aberdeen Roughnecks 0, Clyde Valley Blackhawks 26, and Mateo is the only person to pick the Roughnecks to win this game.
I just went for it, didn't I? Sometimes you just got to go for it. Great win by Clyde Valley Blackhawks. That league is just an absolute shite show anyway. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm looking at the structure of it now. It's saying Rossendale played 2 games. I don't know what's going on with that. They're doing a great job, Rossendale. And the fact they've got to go up there is just ridiculous. Aberdeen, again, it's
associate team.
Yeah. you've got one win on the board. Well done. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep cracking on. If you take them two teams out of it, Clyde Valley are obviously bottom of the three. How Edinburgh don't have two teams baffles me. Dundee, there's other places that should have teams. It's just mental. But yeah, good win for them. Oh well.
Yeah, I agree. I have nothing else to add to this, but there is something that I'm guessing, Adam, this is for the Mavs game. Love a game without buffer refs and love a game where the first half takes 2 hours. The Volunteers did their best. So I'm guessing you didn't have referees for this game against Colchester. A first half that takes 2 hours. That is a.
What game's this?
That would probably. It looks like it probably is the Colchester Gladiators versus East Kent Mavericks. Because Adam plays for the Mavericks.
Okay.
My idea is that's exactly what's probably happened. But Jesus, 2 hours.
That must be some serious injuries then. And if that's the case, that explains that result because there's nothing with obviously. I don't want anyone to get injured on the opposition or on my team. But if it's a bad injury, you sit there, you start seizing up, you don't perform as you usually would. Things like that can affect how you're going to perform, can affect the game. If you've got a bit of momentum, then you've got to stop. But well done to the Volunteers who did do the best. The whole Baffer situation, I'll always say the same thing. We just need to stop speaking to refs like dickheads.
Yeah, it was the Mavs versus Glads. I was not sure about that one. But let's move up to the Premiership. So in this game, we had an over-under on touchdowns being scored. This game ended Hertfordshire Cheetahs 6, Bristol Aztecs 43. I believe that is under 1 touchdown, 6 points. Myself, Chris, and Sean got this right. Mateo expected over 1 touchdown. You probably took too much into now.
I'll tell you what, like
it's not surprising.
Bristol Aztecs clearly playing very angry there after that
that crazy loss.
Yeah. Look, Cheetahs, they beat Cambridgeshire Cats, I'm pretty sure.
8-6, something really tight. It was a really tight game.
And that fixture's got to be played again.
Yeah.
Dust yourself off, rebuild, go on to the next game. You're excited for Bo Nix and RJ Harvey. Yes, mate. Yes, I am.
I'm not a Broncos fan. I'm a Colts fan. It is what it is. Like, I lost the bet. Look, I lost the bet, and I have to wear my punishment. I said I'll do it, and I did it. I'm a man that sticks to his words. But yeah, I'm not surprised by this game. Although I am surprised that the Aztecs allowed a score. Unless if it was 2 field goals, either way, it's still a score that kind of caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely caught me off guard.
Yeah, but look, if the Cheetahs do stay up, they've got a massive rebuild. I think we've discussed a few times when they've had games, they've had minimum players. At that level, that's hard. And listen, what we're all forgetting as well is the heat on Sunday. That's going to have an impact if you've only got 20 odd players. But
true, but no, Cheetahs actually have a decent sized team. They've got I think the minimum they have is at least 30. It's the Cats that have limited players.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure they have a decent amount. Interception. I don't know if it was it. Oh, so you scored it on a pick 6. Very nice. Hey, defensive players holding it up, holding it down, making sure that you get on that scoreboard. You're not the only ones to not score. Cats had about 30. Yeah, 30. Oh, Cats had about 30. What's going on? Wow. Anyway, let's move on to that game. Rushmore Knights 30, Cambridgeshire Cats 6. I picked the Cats for this game because I don't know. I expected something different. But Chris, Sean, and Mateo all picked the Knights. Yeah.
Look, I wasn't expecting anything different. I think Cambridgeshire Cats will be, although they should be focusing on every game, they'll be just looking at that Cheetahs game. All effort, all energy, all practices,
No,
that league. I mean, look, that relegation battle isn't over in that game, which is great.
no, it's not.
Um,
But Hertfordshire, the Cats do have a very, very high points against. They have 40 point. There's like 43 points difference between the Cheetahs and the Cats. That's been scored against, and that's how it goes, I believe, in the table. So obviously the Cats will have to beat the Cheetahs by a field goal at least to take that.
On the Battle website, you've both conceded 269, and they've both Cheetahs have scored 32 and Cats have scored 33.
Hold on, did they just refresh it? No, I've got Cheetahs 226 and Cats at 269.
Is that 7 games each played?
Or I've got Cats here 7, Cheetahs 6. I don't know if it's been updated.
Mine's updated, mate.
Okay. So why hasn't it updated all over the site? What's so for this? Okay, whatever. I'm not even gonna try to figure it out. The disparity between teams in the Premiership South, even the ones that are close together in the table, is crazy. Yeah, we will actually get onto that game, but let's talk about Rushmore Knights 30, Cambridgeshire Cats 6.
We've just done that one.
Oh, we did? Yeah, we did.
We're going on to the
anyway,
one.
Let's go on to the one that I was at. London Warriors 40, London Blitz 0.
Wow, what a statement!
It's a very big statement. It's a ridiculous statement. I'm gonna look. I was at the game. Both teams were hyped up. But you could see where the game was going instantly. Warriors overpowered Blitz's D-line with size, and the defense for the Warriors overloaded, and the Blitz O-line are very young and undersized to go up against that D-line. You had players number 5, Cedric, who was able to bully double teams, get past the tackle and throw the running back away and gets and actually lands a hit on the QB. Then you have the other D end, who's Jamal, who is able to make his way through, and then you've got the defense. There's just so many different aspects. They Blitz did try to pass the ball on offense quite a bit. QB threw 4 picks. I believe the QB threw 4 picks, and it wasn't really pretty because you could see that as soon as he released that ball, you could see that it was going to happen. But again, there's a lot of growing pains. The Blitz QB.
Do Blitz have to play Aztecs again? Because that'll be interesting.
No, they played earlier in the season. But as I mentioned last week, the only way for Blitz to make playoffs is to beat the Warriors now at Finsbury Park. Which, looking at that scoreline and seeing how that game went, is a very, very tall tale.
But you mentioned there it's a young O-line. Like they're gonna learn from that, come back stronger next season. They've done very well. Again, I mean, obviously, it looks like London Warriors have got that division secured.
Always, as usual. But it was a running game. So if I'm correct, all scores were on the ground. You had the starting QB D rushing in for, I think, about 3 touchdowns. The backup QB rushed in for a touchdown. A running back, two running backs rushed it in for a touchdown. So when you look at it, the rushing touchdowns were just a show of dominance that they can move you out the way. And I think that's something that teams have to contend against, that they have to remember that they can still move the ball on the ground as well as in the air very, very efficiently. So whoever has them in the playoffs, good luck. Because you got to travel to South London as well. So that's another hour to get around London to then go play another 3 hours. Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done in that game for that. But then we move on to up north, We'll do a quick talk about the game that got cancelled within 14 hours. Manchester Titans versus Newcastle Vikings. This game ended. Well, didn't even start. It ended. It was cancelled 10 hours before kickoff. Not a great look. And how does this actually affect? How does this really affect the relegation situation? Because if that means Newcastle's already back into Division 1 now because they've forfeited a game, or if they're able to get it rescheduled, it's going to make things very interesting.
I don't think BAFA will let them reschedule that with the amount of time and notice that they're given. Sheffield's one was announced midweek, I believe. So there's enough time for adjustments to be made. And the guys at Scunthorpe are absolutely sweethearts, and I'm sure they would have tried to accommodate Elton to the best of their ability. My worry is if there's another forfeit. I might be wrong. I'm sure Steve or someone would let us know. If there's another forfeit, do they drop from Prem to Associate? And if they do, that is an absolute shame.
Newcastle are automatically relegated. 2 teams from Division 1 North final get promoted. Oh, simple as that then.
Why would 2 teams get promoted?
Because there's only 5 teams in that division. So basically, this is something that I was talking about with some players on Sunday, is that the teams in the North are going to play a game less than the teams in the South. Because the South have 6 games. We'll have 6 teams, so they will play 10 games.
So someone's answered the question there. Associate for second forfeit. Like Jesus. I was speaking to a manager of a team. Won't name him, and he obviously it was when I said that every major city should have a team, every major town should have a team. But David, you're absolutely right. It's ruined the bowl game for a game that now means nothing. Yes, it has on one aspect. You are right. But I'm sure whoever gets there, and I've got my view on who I think is going to get there. I still think that they're going to go for gold. I think Nottingham will be celebrating that one because I had them down because obviously Vikings beating the first time. I had Nottingham down as going down. Nottingham will be able to, will be sound now. But mental, absolutely mental. We might still see this happen with other teams. We haven't finished the season, Div 1 teams, I think there needs to be a bit of an announcement on how it is all going to work. Because if that happens, the playoff game is then a promotion game.
There's it makes it again. Every single comment is very, very true. The Div 1 winner of Div 1 North automatically get promoted. Obviously, it probably looks like it will be the Rams getting promoted straight up into the Prem. It is true, Adam. Another team from the North will get promoted, then get spanked, as they probably won't be ready for the Prem. But they have to. They get the option to go up. Will they decline it? I don't think many teams probably will because they want to see where they match up potentially for a year. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Loser of the Div 1 North final was supposed to play the relegation game. Yes. That is what was going to happen. But now that Newcastle have forfeited, the only logical outcome is that both teams will get promoted. So technically, the game actually does mean nothing. It just means who's the best team in the North in Division 1.
I'd love to know what's happened there because they were an absolute beast. Even last year, they were holding their own. So something mad's happened. I hope they're able to come back. But let's just see what happens.
Yeah. And then we're going to move on to the final game that was played at 12 p.m. It is Nottingham Caesars 3, Coventry Phoenix 24. We all picked the Phoenix to win this game.
I'm not surprised.
I think the Phoenix probably are the best team in the North. I think they probably will finish the division as number 1. That's my view. I think they will.
I'll give my view in it. I mean, I think, by the way, I love what Phoenix do, and I think they're a great team. I just think Titans, you just see them getting bigger and better every week with a massive, and it is a rebuild year. A team that's able to do that, it's dangerous. And Coventry Phoenix in 6 games have conceded 66 points.
Wait, who did Coventry lose
to? Was it East Kilbride?
Yes, they lost to East Kilbride 18-16. Yeah.
So,
Actually, my point is actually pointless now because unless Manchester lose, they lost to Phoenix, but Coventry got the tie.
yeah.
That's where I went wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, that division's far from over. But Nottingham are very lucky, I think, with that thing happening with the Vikings. So it gives them an opportunity to rebuild on them last few games that they've got.
Yeah.
Do you think the Prem should be bigger than the amount of teams that's in there?
I think the Prem. I think the Prem should actually be the top 6 teams play each other on a Saturday. So then other people can go watch the game. So it should be 3 top teams in the south, 3 top teams in the north, and you play each other. I think that travel should get covered by BAFA in a sense because it's helping promote the game. It makes the league a lot more interesting, but we know that's not going to happen. So I'll leave that to the end of the season when we go through how we would like our leagues to be registered because it's not fun. Because I would rather watch more interesting games. I would rather travel up to Manchester to watch Warriors versus Titans. I'd rather travel to watch Warriors versus Phoenix in a regular season game.
Yeah.
Because then when it gets to that playoff game or that finals game, it's going to be so much more interesting because they've already played each other. They know how certain things look, feel, go. It'll make things a lot more interesting. It'll definitely make a lot of things a lot more interesting than how they currently are.
I like how. So obviously, look, I've never played Prem ball, and I never will. For the Div 2 teams, I don't mind the new structure, and the reason I say that is in an ideal world, every person who plays the sport over 5-6 years or whatever gets themselves a ring. What you've deemed to qualify for a ring is another thing, but you're going to have four, whatever Div 2 teams who have to win one playoff game and then a relegation game. And so I like that aspect of it. I agree. I'd love to see them do that with the Prem because that needs to be the bread and butter. And to get to that standard, you could just go and join the Titans, and would you develop? Of course, you develop. You could join a Div 2 team and go right. Develop, climb up, go to Div 1 or get promoted with that Div 2 team.
Yeah.
There's loads of different ways for people to do it, but no, I think that would be epic, and I'm sure that show that we do is going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're great. I like this comment. Prem's a shit show. It's Warriors in the south, Blitz and Aztecs fighting for second, and the rest fighting not to get relegated. Very true. But at the moment, it is just Aztecs in second place. Blitz have to be. I don't. The magnitude of the have. The key word in this whole statement is have to beat Warriors at Finsbury Park in their second matchup. If they don't, that season's done. And it's going to be it's a tall task to go in and beat the team that just walked over you 40-0, even if it is at home.
Lots of game footage to be watched there.
No, Adam, it's three divisions in the Prem South. It's 3 divisions, not 2. It's 3. It's Warriors, then the Blitz and Aztecs, and then everyone else. So it's crazy that's how it's become, because I remember before it used to be very competitive within the top 4 teams, but it's just become an absolute domination.
Yeah,
by the Warriors. It is what it is. But again, I could say the same thing 10 years ago. It was domination by the Blitz. And then before that, it was domination by London Olympians. So it seems that it just keeps flowing. It keeps changing over a certain period of time. Question is, when will the Warriors' reign end? No one knows. That is the truth. So it's going to be very, very tough to see how that pulls through. But just an idea of the predictions where everyone sits. Mateo got 12 out of 17 this week. Sean and Chris got 16 this week out of 17, and I got 13 out of 17 this week.
Damn it.
God, no one got 100%. I should have got that last week, but a team decided to tie it.
World's smallest violin here, mate. Don't care. It's all done, mate. It's all done.
It's okay. You're just low on the table. It's fine.
Right. Next.
Right. So
Week 15.
next week we got week 13. We have 14 games being played. No Premiership games. It is all Division 2 and Division 1. It looks like the season is starting to come to a slow end, I would say. But we do have some interesting matchups that could define how things are going to go in the future. So we all love higher quality and competitive. One is the heart and soul of the sport. Yeah, Division 1 is probably the more exciting division. I think I've said that multiple times before. It does look like it's more exciting. There's no real dominant team apart from the Stallions and the Rams at the moment. But usually that would have been.
I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting.
Oh, you're not going to bite, no? Okay.
No. We'll get to that. We'll get to it.
Fine. So division week 3, we're going to start off with Division 2. We have Plymouth Vanguard versus Cornwall Monarchs again. I'm probably going to hate myself. Vanguard are at home, but I feel like I'm hating myself right now because fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Fool me 3 times. I'm gonna go with the more.
I'll tell you what. I'll pick Cornwall. I'm gonna pick Cornwall.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel better. I'm gonna go with Cornwall. I don't know what's going on at the Vanguard, but it's just been a bit of a struggle over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But I think Cornwall should be able to potentially get the win. Now, watch Vanguard come out and pull 60 out of the bag. Watch that happen. Next up, we got Ouse Valley Eagles versus Norwich Devils.
Ouse Valley Eagles for me on this one.
I agree with you because Devils have not been very good, I will say, in the last couple of games. So it'd be very interesting to see how that goes. Next up, we've got Ipswich Cardinals versus Oxford Saints. I'm going with the Cardinals.
I'm going with the Saints, and I'm wishing every one of them that team member is all the best. They've obviously lost one of their own.
Yes.
So we're sending you absolute tons of love and go and kick ass.
Yeah.
It's my opinion.
Next up, we have the Miners versus the Bombers. Come on now. Isn't this is your neck of the woods?
Yeah, look, I would love Lee to win, just so they've got a win on the cards, because there's some players in here that they've dug so deep to try and, to finish that season again, massive rebuild for them. Going to go for the Bombers. Good luck, Lee. I would absolutely love you guys to prove me wrong, but yeah, going to go for the Bombers.
I'm going with the Bombers as well. Don't think I've seen Lee win many games. Oz punching balls, watching you both pick Cornwall.
The dry walls in tears.
Hey, we can't just we can't be doing the exact same thing every week and expecting a different result. Sometimes you've got to mix it up. That's how it goes. Next up, we've got a rematch again, very, very quickly. Buccaneers versus the Panthers. I'm going with the Panthers. I know you're going with the Buccaneers. So
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. And Panthers, obviously, I couldn't sing the praises anymore, but we've recruited very well. And we've seen that in our last game, offense and defense. We've recruited a wide receiver, and he hurdled someone as he scored a touchdown. And if my wife would let me, I'd have that picture on my wall, but I'm not allowed. So I'm going to go for our boys. And yeah, well, if you want to do a bet in it again, we can do, but we know what will happen. But yeah, very
Fair
confident.
enough. Yeah, I'm not taking no bet on this one. We got Gateshead Senators versus Humble Warhawks.
Look, I think Warhawks will win it. Senators need a win to keep up the whole process of being top alive. I think you've got to play each other 2 times, so it's going to be an interesting one. But I think Warhawks, obviously being relegated last year, they got promoted. They were only in Div 1 for 1 year. I just don't think that league's particularly great. It's not doing them any favours. Getting big wins every week. You want that close game. How are you going to play against a good defence? So I think Warhawks will win this one.
Okay, I agree. I'm not betting against Warhawks until they lose a game. Yeah. Even then, I probably won't bet against them. Next up, we've got Bournemouth Bobcats versus Bristol Apache.
Apache. Bristol for me, mate.
Yeah, of course. They are the 3rd best team in that division. It's crazy that I'm saying that because they were the best team in the division last year, but they also have Solent in that division now, which seem to be. It's crazy to the fact that I'm saying that, and
any good team will be working for next season a few weeks ago. Planning, getting stuff together, getting ideas, getting sponsors. Sponsors take an eternity of time to do so. Yeah, they'll be planning that for next season. But no, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Next up, this is easy. This is probably easy. I'll probably just pick them now for you. We got Wembley Stallions versus Berkshire Renegades. Stallions, yeah. Actually, screw it. For this one, let's go. Do Stallions score more than 50? Over, under 50 points?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Over. Yeah.
Over. Yep.
Yeah.
Let me just.
This is going to be an interesting game. The next one coming up, by the way. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yep, I think a lot of people probably are. To be fair. Next up, we have Portsmouth Dreadnoughts versus London Blitz B.
I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna go Blitz B. I think they will get the playoff spot. Dreadnoughts, they've beaten bad teams good, but when they come up against a good defense, it looks like they just can't do anything. Again, bear in mind, they are playing against Stallions, where they got absolutely destroyed. I believe they lost the first matchup against the Blitzby as well. So I just think that Blitzby will probably be able to have enough to beat them going forward.
I agree. I feel like it's going to be a closer game. But yeah, I'm going for Blitzby too.
Yeah. Perfect. And the next game, okay. So next game, it is Colchester Gladiators versus Essex Trident. I'm taking the Gladiators for this.
Yeah, I'm taking Gladiators. Tridents have drew 1 and lost 5.
Yeah. It's a difficult situation right now for them. The next up, we're going up north. We have Shropshire Revolution versus Northant Knights.
If I'm right in saying this, I don't know who the Revs' last game is, but if the Knights win this, I think it confirms the Revs' relegation. Might be wrong. I'm wrong often. Look, Revs, although they made playoffs last year, they need to go down, rebuild, come back up. I think Knights will win this. And looking at the league table, Knights want a win to just get second place boxed off. So yeah, Knights for me.
Okay. I'm going to take Knights as well. Revs have been very bad this year. From a playoff team to relegation.
Yeah.
A relegation team isn't very exciting. It's kind of crazy that that's how it's happened. They were limited on players last year.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're limited on players again this year. So it's tough to really pick out what's going on over and up there. But the next game in the division, in the north, I believe it is. It is Sheffield Giants versus Yorkshire Rams. I think everyone knows who I'm going with. I'm going with the Rams because I think they are the dominant presence in that division. Where are you going, Mateo?
I ain't biting. I'm going for Rams too. I hope Giants. I really hope they can feel the team. If you're a Sheffield player and you're umming and ahhing about playing because this league hasn't gone to the way you've wanted it, sort your shit out. Go and play them last few games. Get your team over the line. But yeah, I'm going for Rams.
Cool. Next up, we've got the Scunthorpe Alphas versus the Chester Romans. I guess the weaker top team in Division 1. The Alphas. I'm going with the Alphas for this one over the Romans. Where are you going with this, Mateo?
Just on your comment there, the weaker team. I think if Alphas meet Rams in the playoffs, and I'm going to put money on this because you've got your fucking bite now. I think the Alphas will do the Rams. I know I've seen a few clips of Alphas there, QB, rapid arm. I think the Alphas will win this. I would love my Chester Roman boys to upset this and prove me wrong. Keep doing what you're doing, boys, but I think Alphas will win this, and I'm very much looking forward to how that league's going to finish. And you've got your bite, hooked, everything.
Oh, that was brilliant. I love it. And the last game of the week, we're up in Scotland. It is Glasgow Tigers versus Everclyde Goliaths.
Tigers.
Tigers. Yeah,
Tigers.
It's not really.
That's just
not really much of a.
How'd you fix that league? Like more teams, obviously. Like Edinburgh need the Edinburgh not having a team just absolutely baffles me. But yeah,
you can't. The issue is that you can't fix it. You can't. There's no way to fix it unless the league becomes semi-pro and there's actual money invested in the league for travel. I think, and hotel stays, because it's too much money to have a team from the Midlands travel up to Everclyde or to God knows where.
Listen,
Scotland to play.
We played them in the playoffs. When was at Romans? I got up at 12 o'clock midnight. I met my mates at a car park at like 12:30, 1:45, and we drove all the way there, stopped a few times, kicked that ass and drove back. It is an absolute killer. Something needs to be done with it, but there needs to be more teams in Scotland. There's other. It's not, I've mentioned Edinburgh. There's Dundee. There should be 2 teams in Glasgow. There should be, the amount of unis they have as well. I know uni players go on. We know that, but not all of them do. Some of them stay throughout the summer.
Yeah, because they're working. So
yeah. That league needs sorting, because if not, it'll, imagine if Inverclyde folded, or then you've got 2 teams. They're just going to be mixed into the north. No one's going to help them with like coaches, because you can't get a coach there. It just costs too much. It needs sorting ASAP.
Yeah, it's very difficult, but it's difficult to see how that will get fixed. I'm intrigued to see how you will fix it in your league, in your makeshift league. I'll be intrigued to see how that would work out. But ladies and gentlemen, that was week 13. That was the full 14 games selected and picked. We've split not many. It's mainly the first 4. We've split 3 games, and that's it. So the difference from a perfect week is 3 games. Saints versus Cardinals. Lee Miners versus. Oh no, you picked the Bombers as well. Sorry, 2 games.
Yeah, no. I would love Lee to win, but Bombers will do it. We were split on the Buccaneers and Panthers. For some reason, you picked Panthers.
Yeah, because I know that's right. So there's 3. There are 3. There is 3. 2 teams. It is Ipswich Cardinals versus Oxford Saints, and Buccaneers versus the Panthers. Other than that, we're pretty much equal across the whole board. It's going to be very interesting. It is Div 1, so I'm guessing it's GB weekend as well, which would mean that no Prem teams are playing games. But ladies and gentlemen, that is us for another week. An hour and 5 minutes of your time has been taken up by ourselves. I am grateful. I'm sure Mateo is very grateful as well that you have sat here listening to us talking a lot. But this is what we do every Monday at 7:30 on the dot. We try to keep it to an hour. Sometimes we run over. Sometimes there's an interesting thing to talk about. But yeah, I've got my Broncos jersey on because I lost the bet. It is what it is. Mateo is a huge Broncos fan.
Yeah, man.
But ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I said this so many times. Jesus Christ, how many times am I going to say it? A highlight, a recap of the week. Warriors stayed dominant once again. Cheetahs scored on the Aztecs. Cats are in a relegation point with 0 wins and 7 losses. The Premiership North is an absolute mess.
Newcastle absolutely just gave Nottingham Caesars the ultimate extra life of their existence.
Yeah.
Coventry Phoenix, they've ramped up a great result. Is it between two teams? Yes, Titans and Phoenix can clash.
Yeah, who's going to get that number 1 spot? It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fantastic. It's been great. It's been brilliant. We will see you next week, Monday. And I hope you all stay safe. Those that are playing on the weekend, have a great time. Don't do anything too crazy. Play safe. Make sure your helmets are great. Always wear a gum shield. I'm Micah.
I'm Mateo.
It's been a pleasure.